This is Professor Homa. I'm going to review doing our last project in computer graphics, which was the WCCC holiday card. You're looking at a sample right now, which is basically composed of 4 photos in 4 separate corners that use layer masks to position them and to size them. Also, some other effects were added. You can see in the middle here there was a bow added that was just taken from the web and thrown in there and silhouetted and has a drop shadow on it. There's also these ribbons that were thrown down and across, which are basically just rectangles created in Photoshop with a gradient put on them and also a drop shadow. There's some type that's thrown on here with some effects, some glows, some bevel emboss, maybe some drop shadows. People use different things, and it's even arced a little bit. And also there's a vignette on here, which you don't have to do, and a lot of what we had to do on these photos that we were given is do a lot of image adjustments, photo filters, levels, shadows, highlights, things like that, because some of the photos weren't very good quality. So we'll be reviewing some of those operations when we do this, as well as layer masks and things like that. So I just wanted to show the finished product first, and then I'm going to get started with this, and I'm going to break this down into a couple of videos. So I'm going to start now, just starting right from the beginning. I'm going to close this one up, and I'm going to go File, New, and again, like before, we're going to set it, and it's defaulting to 6x4 because that's what I did last time, but we're going to make a 6x4 300 resolution RGB color, and it's in white. And the first thing we're going to do in Photoshop, and if you have rulers viewed in inches, if it's not in inches, you could go to your preferences up here and go to units. If it wasn't in inches, or if you want to work in pixels for the web, that's where you could change that in your preferences. But we have it in inches right now, so that's okay. We also have rulers shown. If you don't want your rulers, you can go up here in the application bar. There's a place to turn off your rulers, and there's a place to also show your guides, which we're going to use. So I want rulers shown, and like we did before with our vignette, we're going to use guides, and I'm just going to drag a guide down from the top, halfway down to the 2-inch marker, and then I'm going to drag one from the left ruler to the 3-inch marker, which will divide this up in 4 separate quadrants, and that's where we're going to put our 4 photos. And we're going to do it by using layer masks. So I'm going to bring in 4 photos here, and then we're going to apply layer masks. I don't think we're going to use the paste into method. We're going to make a selection and then apply the layer mask afterwards. So I'm going to bring in some photos from our holiday card folder. I'm going to do File, Open, and you know what? I'm going to show you this. Some people in class asked about this by doing File, Place, and I'm going to use this method. I'm going to go File, Place. And normally you should place a different format, you know, like an EPS or something like that. But I'm going to go here and let's see what I have here. I'll bring in the first one in the upper left corner, which is JPEG 2. I'm going to do File, Place, and that brings this file in here, and I'm going to scale it down, and I'm going to kind of position it to where I want it in the corner here. Even if it overlaps my guides, that's okay. But I'm going to position it here, and this one actually fits pretty nice. This way, in some cases, the layer masks are almost not necessary. But I'm going to bring this one in, and you can see this little X over it. And once I'm done scaling it, I'm going to hit Return, and there it is. And one thing I want to point out is that when you place a file, it becomes a smart object. If you look over here to the layer palette, you can see that it has a little icon down here indicating that it's a smart object. So it's a smart layer. So that's not a big deal. The only thing you want to do if you're just going to be working with these regular images, smart objects, you can actually open their original when you want to edit them. But we want to edit them right in Photoshop. So first, if you're going to use the File, Place method, and sometimes it may help you work faster than dragging things or copying and pasting, all that you have to do is go over here and just do Rasterize Layer. Rasterize Layer just turns it into a regular layer. So if you have a bunch of images that you need to bring in, you can use File, Place. Just make sure that you rasterize the layer afterwards. So I'm going to just name this layer Group Shot. And I'm not going to put a layer mask on yet. I'm going to bring my other photos in. So I'll keep using that place method. I'm going to place, there's a graduate one. I'll use this graduate one at the bottom. And I'll keep them in the same location that I did on the sample. Again, you could use anything here, and I'm not worried if they overlap. I'm just worrying about how the photo looks. So, you know, some of these may bump right to the guides, which may make a layer mask, you know, not as necessary as I said. So I'm going to put that one there, and I'm going to hit Return once I'm done scaling. And I'm also going to right-click and rasterize the layer and give it a name and call it grads. And I'll bring in my 2 more photos. Okay, I'm back, and just to save you some time of watching through this, I brought in my other 2 videos, or my other two photos, which I rasterized and I named those layers. So there's 2 nurses is down here, and group nurses is up here. And you can see those photos are dark and they're going to need some editing. And you can also see that we have some overlap here, which we're going to use layer masks to take care of. So I'm going to do the layer masks and some image editing on the next step. So I'm gonna stop here, and then for part 2 we're going to do the layer masks, and then I'm going to do the image edits before I do the other effects.